started now. This day's a turning point in my life. The day I begin living my life from the inside out. And I am transformed. I am transformed.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Merkovich and I'm your host for Family Today. This show is for everyone, parents, grandparents, and young adults. How many of you are stuck in a mentorship or a life coaching experience? And how many of you would like to have some better outcomes? Here with me today is THEO TILTON, and he's a life coach. And just before I introduce him, a little brief on his background. Thank you.
THEO TILTON is an international best-selling author of The Practice Method, online course, and content creator, inspirational speaker, quantum mindset expert, and highly sought-after full-spectrum prosperity coach. He helps busy professionals and the LGBT entrepreneurs overcome stress and anxiety one action at a time.
Thank you. And here he is, THEO TILTON. Welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me again.
Okay, it's good to see you again.
Yes.
And you are a super life coach. Tell me, what are the three things that you could see that a person is stuck with a mentor or a life coach? What are the three things that you could see in a person when they come to you, for example, and share with you that they didn't get anywhere with that first one?
A lot of times what I see is sometimes frequently there'll be somebody who has experience with someone else.
Yes.
And they get a little hesitant because they've already done something and maybe they didn't have the success that they thought they were going to have, and so it causes it triggers their belief system, their limiting belief system. So, what I like to do when someone comes in is I ask them, like, have you worked with someone else before? And what were the results? And then usually will tell me, hey, it was great, or they say it wasn't great.
It wasn't good.
And then I explain to them there's really three key traits to an extraordinary coach. The first one is looking at their clients' results. So, this is something you can
the previous clients'
previous
results.
clients, current clients, are they willing to give referrals out? Like, hey, ask a few of my existing clients. So that's the number one.
Okay.
So I would say the second one would be, is that coach continuously educating themselves? For example, if you needed to have an organ removed and you needed to go to a surgeon, would you like to go to a surgeon that was trained 30 years ago and never went back to school, never...
Or to upgrade himself?
So you want to go, it's required for them to continuously educate themselves, the latest techniques, what's going on. It's no different in the coaching world. There's new methods, there's new techniques. There's brand new paradigms of thinking around coaching and performance. So you want to, the coach should have that. So if you're currently working with someone and they're not re-educating themselves, you probably should look for another coach.
So are you re-educating or upgrading yourself?
Oh, constantly.
Constantly. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so, but...
Yeah, no, I started my own journey about 17 years ago. And I became a certified coach back in 2018. Okay. And since 2018, which that training alone was a year-long process. Then I was in another 2-year program, and then I was in another year program. So here I am 5 years later, and I constantly, like every 6 months, I'm doing something to re-educate.
To upgrade, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it's very common even it doesn't matter what job you have. You know, even in corporate America, a lot of times you'll find people have to get continuously retrained.
Do you believe when people come to you, you had similar experiences in the past when you were not a life coach? Do you resonate with them in some ways?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's usually, there's one more element I want to go back to, but
Okay.
to answer your question, definitely I would say having similar experiences. So if someone is looking for a coach, like they see, like, you know, all successful people seem to have a coach or a mentor.
They are.
Which is true.
It's true.
You know, athletes, they get to a certain level, they want to overperform, they get excellent
More training.
coaches, they get more training, you know, actors, they go to act, you know, they get
Yes.
higher levels of coaching on their acting.
True.
So it's not just they learned it once and then they think they're going to get better.
Yeah.
They get better through the process of re-educating and coaching. The good marker, like if someone wants to be an entrepreneur and they're like, I don't know where to begin, well, you should probably go to a coach that has done entrepreneurial things.
Yes, you do specialize in teaching and coaching entrepreneurs. THEO.
Yeah, I mean, what I specifically do is I focus on the LGBT community. And I help launching LGBT entrepreneurs overcome stress and anxiety in the process of launching, because it is a very stressful experience.
It is.
You know, and whether they're looking to leave their job and create something in the world, you know, it's not that I'm going to say, do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and this is how you launch. But it's really about who you're being. It's all about discovering who you're being and who you're not being. You know, because there's a version of you, I'll pretend you're the client, there's a version of you in the future that is this successful entrepreneur. That person acted or is being a certain way. So how do we pull that into your current life experience so that you're beginning to operate from that distinction, that paradigm, that way of being right now? Because you can only attract the future that you want by being that person now.
That person, yes. It's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah.
Especially, you understand it, I understand it, a lot of people that coach understand it. But the people that come to you for the first time, when you tell them about the inner work and what you just mentioned, that will be hard for these people.
Oh, yeah.
It's good enough that they're aware that they need some kind of help. But some people are not even aware of that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think
you're
also
doing a
the sign of a
great
good
job.
coach, and I work on this. I'm constantly trying to work on this, which is meeting somebody where they're at. You know,
Nice.
you know, when someone is getting perpetually trained over and over, you're constantly rising consciousness, language, everything is changing.
body language.
But everything, yeah, the words that you use, and sometimes it just flies over people's heads.
Yeah.
So I have to constantly remind myself, speak in a language where they are.
Yes,
Don't
yes.
speak in a language that's over their head. Otherwise,
Yes,
they
for
won't get
sure.
it. And so that's something that I practice on, you know, for myself, because I find myself doing that. Like, oh, I just said something that they probably, I can see the dazed and confused look. You know,
And you
like,
could sense that, you
let me
could sense
rephrase
it.
that in a different way.
Yes, you could sense that too. So let me ask you a little bit about the LGBT,
No, but she's,
not
yeah.
Q.
Well, you can use the QIA. There's a
What
lot
does it stand for the people that might not have heard of the term?
Well,
I'm sure
I mean,
they did. I'm sure they
Well,
did.
you know, there's different groups.
Yes, there are, yes.
And as people have identified and begin to identify themselves with specific pieces of that community, it kind of has become like a melting pot of a larger and larger growing community. And I think that's why they've now like added the plus sign, right? Or you know, there's different, you know, so it's kind of like this now forever expanding thing. But really, it's people who identify as, you know, lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, or or there's a lot of controversy around
Yes,
that
there is.
subject
There
matter
is.
now.
Absolutely.
And so we love labels, and so of course that has become a label for
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And really, it's never truly about the label. It's the authenticity.
Yeah.
And it's allowing people to be authentically who they are, and having some semblance of community. Because without it, they feel lost.
Lost, okay. I understand that,
Yeah.
for sure. But how do they begin to understand that now they are a different person or a different sex or a different thinking? How do they first start? I mean, there are people that I met, women that were over 40, and then they had their kids, they had the husband, a male, and a woman's relationship, and all of a sudden they said that they're not that anymore, that
There's something
they
else.
identify as a lesbian.
The lesbian, or
How does that happen?
It does.
I'm amazed by that. I don't understand that so well.
Yeah,
I am open-minded. I am.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how it progresses to that.
I'll try to explain it using a different way of explaining it.
Okay.
So imagine that you're born into a world, and you're just being who you are,
Yeah.
and the world has a noise to it. There's a sound that's constantly playing in the background. And so you adapt your whole life because you really didn't even know the noise is there. It's playing in the background. So this is kind of what's happening, when people go through the indoctrination of society.
Absolutely.
You're going to school, you're learning certain things, you're learning certain cues and reminders that, oh, this looks like it's bad. I shouldn't do that. I'm
Yes.
having those thoughts, but I should suppress
Sure.
that down. So we keep molding ourselves to the fact that there's this noise in the background of our life. Then all of a sudden, somewhere, someday, the noise goes off.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, hold on. There's a whole new reality out here that I
Okay.
wasn't aware of. That I was pretending to be something, and really I didn't have to pretend. So that's kind of like what happens. There's like there's a shift, and there's also courage and bravery.
To that. I would think,
people
yeah.
it's like the amazing amount of bravery and courage it takes, and of course
When they
nowadays
come, let's say when they come out. Nowadays,
it's easier nowadays.
it's easier because
Yeah,
it
because of all this identification.
Yes.
People feel like, oh, it's okay now.
it's okay.
Like me growing up,
No.
I had a conversation at some point with somebody, I think just literally 2 days ago. They said, well, when did you first know? And I'm like, well, are you asking me before I came out? When did I first know?
Right.
Or because I came out like in my 20s. But then I retreated a little bit. I almost got married.
Oh.
I almost got married to a woman, and that was because of family pressure.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden I realized I was being authentic. I came out again. So it was like this other. But if I look back, I literally knew when I was in second grade.
Wow. Oh
So
my
I
God.
knew that there was something different.
See, that I can't understand, and that's okay. How can a child who doesn't even know his surroundings yet would know that?
There's an internal feeling of I'm different.
Okay.
Like I don't match what I see.
Right.
Like there's something going on in the world, and there's a recognition of like I somehow don't match that image.
Wow.
And so when you're younger, that's all you know. You can't explain what it is. So for years you might be lying to yourself.
Lying to yourself at age 2.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
I know.
But it doesn't matter. It's that way. A 2-year-old, I don't see them seeing something different in the world.
Second
But that's
grade,
just
not 2
me.
years old.
But-
Second grade.
Or second grade. But some people go as far as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not into that category. So, but I do try to understand it a lot.
Yeah.
I do want to understand what are the dynamics, what are their upbringings. Is it because I used to hear before, maybe 10 years ago, that sometimes when you have a sexual abuse, that happens too.
Yeah.
That you could start thinking, okay, maybe I'm the other sex. They used to talk about that, even teachers.
Yeah.
When I went for my, undergrad school and stuff, I used to hear that, and I used to say, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So anyway, for you are grateful.
Oh yeah.
I would say.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no. I think that's. I actually have a whole practice around gratitude every day. It's like gratitude journaling, and I speak it out loud. What am I grateful for today? And it's different every day. I try to make it unique every day.
Yes.
Some things repeat.
Yes.
A roof over my head and food in my mouth, and things like that, and the beautiful sunshine outside. But there's other things to be grateful for. It's
of course.
Grateful for being here.
Yes.
This will be part of my gratitude journaling tomorrow.
So what else do you want to share about coaches and mentors?
I think that we have goals and dreams. And so as we look at our goals and dreams, we may look at others around us that have had some level of success.
Yes.
And everybody has a self-image. Mm-hmm. And you can only grow to the level of your self-image. Mm-hmm. And we can't get beyond the self-image. So the reason why some people are able to, let's say, reach for like $1 million mark, and then some are able to go to 100 million. Well, what's the difference there?
Yes, what is the
and it all has to do with their self-image and the limiting beliefs that are holding them down. Because the reality is, anybody can really do anything.
Yes.
There's a play field in the universe of how the universe works, and we keep giving it our information from inside. And the mirror reflection is our reality. Mm-hmm. So we're only getting a reflection of our self-image.
Got it.
And so a coach is going to help you break the mirror, create a new mirror, but outside further, so that you now can go through that electric fence that's holding you back.
Good analogy, wow.
And then get to the other side, because all the goals and dreams that we have, they fall into this realm of, I don't know that I don't know, which is outside your limitation. Mm-hmm. So once you breach that boundary, the great thing is that you're always going to hit another one. Because even people who are making $100 million a year,
yes,
they may think, well, how do I make $1 billion a year? I can't get there. I haven't been able to get there. So there's always this cap, and it has to do with the self-image and the limitations in their belief system.
Okay.
And that's what coaches do. So coaches,
yes,
and so one might say, well, can every coach do that? I would say no. They have to have a level of expertise within the realm that you're going for. I'm not going to go to if I want to learn about basketball, I'm going to go to a basketball coach. I'm not going to go to a life coach for basketball.
For sure.
So, and the same thing whether it's entrepreneurial or artistry or musician,
yes,
or weight loss. You're going to go to a coach for that.
Yes, of course.
So we really.
But do you cover that too? Weight loss?
I did. I used to. I was a personal trainer for 20 years, and I did that as a modality to keep weight off.
Do you have a modality of hypnosis?
No.
No, okay.
No.
I took it when I was at warrior camp.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I do use language. I know that there's a lot of neuro-linguistic programming techniques
NLP.
That I have not officially been trained in that. And I will use language to probe down into someone's psychological being to see where they're at. Mm-hmm. And then wait for them to respond, and then I get a clear understanding of that self-image. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this is where your self-image is at.
Yes, of course.
You want abundance in your life,
yes,
but your self-image is saying, oh, it's only $100,000 a year. You want to make $250,000. You want to make $500,000. Okay, let's increase that image. So that's what I work on.
Okay. Do you get people that are happy with where they are at?
There's actually quite a number of people that will come. They're like, I'm happy. I'm already happy.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's wonderful. That's great.
Great. Mm-hmm.
And I love that for them. I really do. But there's something that, do you know the Talmud? It's like an ancient
Yes, I
Hebrew
heard of
text.
it. Yes.
There's a verse in there that says every blade of grass has an angel hovering over it saying, grow, grow, grow. And so inside of us, there's these mechanisms of growth. The universe is always growing and expanding. And we are a mirror image of the universe growing and expanding.
Expanding, yeah.
So of course we're going to want to grow and expand. That shows up as our longings, our discontents. If we don't like the way something is, there's an image inside that says it should be another way. That's your growing edge. That's the messages coming through saying grow. Break through that barrier.
So do you ever encounter people that come to you and they know that they have to change something in their lives because their life really depends on it?
Oh, yeah.
Say it's dangerous. Like let's say for an abused wife or whatever. And what kind of, some people don't want to change because of dangers. We all have choices, we say.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have choices that are easy, right?
Yes, it's true.
So how would you mentor this woman that comes to you and say, look, I have to change, my life depends on it, but it's very dangerous.
Well, really, there's a moral obligation and like a licensing obligation, right, to discover whether or not someone's actually in danger. Because if there is an active abuse situation and someone is now openly sharing it, there is an accreditation and a legal responsibility for me to say, hey, it's not like being a priest and say, everything is, it's like, no, you're currently being abused. Yeah. I'm now obligated to report something.
Yeah.
So that in that scenario,
I think a priest will do that too.
It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Of course. But when it comes to certain things like abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and anything like that, it's a reportable thing, and it's as a coach, as a mentor, I'm not a therapist or anything, but you're required
to do it. Yes, of course.
And then it's like, okay, how do we manage this? There's a whole new life going to happen now, and so how do we manage that? And so that's where I would step in, and creating a plan, creating where that woman wants to be. If she wants to be on her own, making her own money, being in a new relationship.
Yes.
That's where we start to unfold what it is her future looks like. And of course,
slowly,
I can't take the action.
One step at a time. Yes.
The action has to
be the person.
Them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. So it is a little. You have a lot of pressure sometimes with some people, don't you?
Yeah. And I'm also very particular about who I coach. There's been times when I can detect that someone's not coachable.
Oh my God!
That's one of my criteria. Is are you coachable?
Are you coachable?
Do you make decisions? Are you coachable? Are you willing to transform? Because I'm going to tell you stuff that you're not going to like. And so if the willingness, the transformational willingness is not there, or the coachability is not there, I'll say, I'm sorry, this relationship is not going to work.
No.
And so I won't let them hire me. I'm not going to have them waste their money.
Yes.
Because they're going to continue to do what they're going to do, and they're going to waste thousands of dollars.
And that's being stuck, almost.
Yeah, they're just going to perpetuate being stuck.
Yes. For sure. Oh my God. Is there anything else that you would like to share? We only have about 3 minutes for something that you came across with teachings and.
Well, one of the things that I recently started dabbling into is getting into the other unseen forces of I like that. Of coaching. I wouldn't call it paranormal, but it would be more in the metaphysical realm.
Metaphysical, yes, I like that too.
And I've been really diving into, through other mentors that I have, friends that have been involved in, like, let's say, astrology, or there's something else now that's been out there for a while, it's called human design.
I heard of it,
and it's based on, like, specific locations, times where you're born, what day. And I've been diving into that. And now what I'm doing is I'm working with clients. I get all that information before I even get on the phone with them. And it has almost 100% accuracy.
With the human design.
With the human design. So I will get on the phone with them and I'll know exactly how things have unfolded for them in their life and how they are and how they operate, and without them even knowing. And usually by the end of that first conversation, they're like, wow, you know me more than anybody else. And it's not that I know more, it's that I understand how to read their design.
Their design. So, okay, so this is one of your upgrades?
Yeah, it's kind of one of the upgrades that I did.
Upgrades, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I learned a little bit about it, but I didn't study it yet.
Yes.
For example, there was a woman that came to me and said that she hears horses.
Wow.
That they're whispering to her. And she believes in this human design too.
Yeah.
I don't know the dynamics yet, but I'm excited about learning it.
Yeah. I'll have to do a chart for you. And I have tons of people. I have a very good mentor, and if I would refer him to you if you ever wanted to have a guest that talks about it. That'd be great.
I would love if he even could be our guest.
Yeah.
So he could explain it further.
Yeah.
Or deeper.
Absolutely.
So would you like to recite your website?
Oh, sure.
Where people could reach you if they need your help? I'm sure they would love to be mentored by you.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'm available on all social media platforms. THEO TILTON is at THEO TILTON Coaching is my handles on all social media. And also THEOTILTON.com is where they can get all my information.
Thank you. But I think it's going to be written in the description. Yes. So I wish you a lot of love and a lot of and a lot of studying and coaching.
Yes.
And I'm grateful that people have you for a life coach, and that you could definitely discern whether the person was stuck with some life coach or not.
Yes.
So you could unwind that and then make it work for them.
Yeah.
Which is a gift. And thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. Next, we will have a great show for you and your families to enjoy. But until then, I'm going to just mention that my previous guest, her website is going to be underneath this one, LoisKramerPerez.com. So just so you know, Theo's is one, and that's my guest, and then also Lois Kramer Perez. And you could also subscribe to my YouTube video. If you didn't catch the show, or maybe you saw parts of it, you could always recap on my YouTube videos and subscribe for some more new episodes. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.